Throughout her entire life, Mila loved entertaining guests. She was a warmly welcoming hostess, and relatives often took advantage of her hospitality, dropping by for a cup of tea or sometimes staying for several days. The summer visits to Mila and her husband Oscar were particularly delightful. Their home was nestled near a beautiful park with a pristine lake and a well-groomed area for swimming and relaxation. Anna couldn't help but marvel at the extraordinary beauty, saying, "No need for the sea. This is truly a remarkable place." The added benefit was the cost savings, a reasonably priced train ticket, and no need to pay for accommodation, thanks to Mila providing 3 meals a day. Mila remained silent in response. In her youth, hosting guests was not a burden. However, as retirement approached, she increasingly yearned for her own moments of relaxation during vacations. Nonetheless, relatives continued to coordinate their vacations with hers to pay her a visit. Oscar noticed Anna packing her bags again and asked, "What's going on?" "Planning a trip." She looked puzzled, staring at the calendar. "Yes," she replied, "I was trying to figure out when I could plan my vacation since I need to coordinate with your time off." "Well, that's something new," Oscar remarked. "We started seeing our kids less often than they visit us with their spouses. It used to be that they'd drop by for a day or so, but now they're planning to stay for 2 weeks. Mila, forgive me, but I'm not ready for a 2-week visit. Freddie has been a bit too much to handle lately, drinking excessively," he added. Anna mentioned that she planned to leave her husband at home since they were finishing renovations at their country house, particularly some work with the sauna. Oscar suggested, "Why doesn't Anna relax at their own country house? They didn't have anywhere else to go before, so they always came to us. Remember how Freddie used to boast about their country house? They bought a luxurious property, and I remember them saying the grass is greener there, and the lake is cleaner. Well, let them relax there. Even better, tell them that this year we'll come to visit them as guests." Mila thought and eventually agreed with her husband. After all, Anna had extended many invitations over the years, saying, "Come visit us," and it felt wrong to decline for so long. Moreover, there was a substantial reason this time: a housewarming at their country estate. The conversation with her husband quickly faded into the whirlwind of daily tasks, but Anna reminded Mila of her intention by calling at the beginning of the summer. "Hey Mila, I'm ready to buy the tickets." "Of course, when are you expecting me?" Anna asked enthusiastically. "Oh, I completely forgot. Oscar and I are going on vacation to a sanatorium this year," Mila replied. "Why would you go to a sanatorium when you have such a wonderful lake, park, and fresh air near your home? A change of scenery is needed. Doing the same thing every year gets tiresome." "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" "I've already planned everything, and Freddie wants to come too," Anna exclaimed. "She even finished the renovation ahead of schedule to join me. We've already found tenants for our apartment during our vacation, so the extra money won't hurt." "So, is the renovation at your country house completed?" Mila asked. She didn't like the accusatory tone in her relative's words, as if Mila was deliberately obligated to her. "Yes, it's finished," Mila replied. "We hurried on purpose to come to you. Now you have an excellent place for relaxation. No need to go anywhere, fresh air, and a clean lake. Freddie used to say that the nature around is just like a fairy tale. And the best part is, you won't even have to spend money on the train. So it seems you've made a decision," Mila added. Anna didn't understand where Mila was heading. "What decision?" she asked. "In that case, we decided to visit you this year. First, a bit of time in the sanatorium. Then we'll spend some time with our daughter, and finally, we'll head your way. You invited us, and we decided to take you up on it with enthusiasm," Mila declared. There was a brief pause on the other end. "Well, I'll call you closer to the date. Until then," Mila concluded. Oscar overheard the conversation and struggled to contain his laughter. I can imagine her surprise. She was planning to visit us, and here we are, surprising her instead. "I can't wait for the vacation." "We'll see how it goes," he remarked. I suggested to her earlier that maybe it's not worth going to them this year. I said it to avoid them planning to relax at our expense. I need a break from them. Others will come instead. No, after such a conversation, we definitely have to keep our word. Can't wait to see the estate amidst the pine forest and almost alpine meadows. Mila decided not to argue with her husband. Perhaps their daughter, unlike Anna, had suggested on her own for them to come and stay. Plus, Oscar had received 2 tickets to the sanatorium from work. Everything fell into place perfectly. After 10 days of rejuvenating rest, Oscar and his wife left the sanatorium and headed to their daughter's place. She welcomed them with joy. "Stay for a week," she offered. "We have one more matter to attend to here," slyly winked the father. Maybe we won't go, Oscar suggested. Call yourself and say we'll be there in a few days. Let her prepare. You're not ready yet? Really? The daughter smiled. Well, we're thinking the right way. They can't keep coming to you all the time, Mela finally thought. She decided to call Anna. After 3 attempts, Anna answered. Hello. Greetings to the vacationers. How are things? Mela asked. Oh, nothing special. Dealing with the greenhouse, working in the garden, it's always something. Not a minute of free time. I've thought a million times about how good it was when you were relaxing. No worries, no work, nothing. And here we are, about to head your way. We've finished all our tasks, and now we're free. Maybe it's better if we come to you. What do you think? Mila proposed. Do you have a train service there? We can only reach our place by taxi, and it's quite expensive for a round trip. I'm concerned about your wallet, Anna inquired hopefully. Our daughter will drive us, don't worry about it. And don't think about the money, it's on us, Mila assured, understanding that arguing was pointless. Anna reluctantly provided the address. Great, we'll expect you tomorrow. Oh, and since you're not coming empty-handed, bring some groceries from the city. Our local shop is small, and with the repairs, we've been a bit tight on supplies. We never visit friends with empty hands, Mila expressed, feeling a bit offended. She was a generous person and always showered friends and family with gifts, not only when visiting them, but even when they came to her. Anna was well aware of this, leaving Mila's house with bags full of presents, often jars of jam made by Mila's mother-in-law, and Oscar even got a small orchard where fruit trees grew. Mila was particularly skilled at making berry jams that the whole family loved. However, this time, Mila and Oscar decided to go all out and bought a variety of delicacies, meat for barbecue, vegetables, and fruits, ensuring their hosts would have a feast. Mila thought about Anna and Freddie's financial situation and wanted to make sure they could comfortably entertain guests. Their daughter graciously transported the goods to their host's home. She welcomed the guests wearing worn-out overalls and an old, holey sundress, indicating that she wasn't expecting them. However, Anna's eyes lit up a bit when Oscar pulled bags of delicacies from the trunk, and Vincent shouted from the garden, Freddie, they brought pomegranate juice for the heart. Good for you, Mila replied. Freddie instantly became a bit disheartened. Who visits without a strategic stock? We have our own supply. Mila pointed to the meat briquettes for the barbecue. How about a grill? Do you have one? We do. Well then, show us your possessions, Freddie responded. Mila thought to herself, I expected Anna to invite us in, but she only inquired, what time will you come for your parents? We didn't discuss it. Tomorrow, probably. We weren't planning for guests, so I'll come when you say. I'll call my daughter. Thank you, Mila hugged her daughter, and she left. The road wasn't too long, so picking up her parents was a hassle. Here's our greenhouse, a barrel with fertilizer, and over there the water tank. Here are the beds. Freddie listed the garden's merits. Mila noted that the house wasn't as much of a rustic cabin as she and her husband had imagined. It had a decent fence, gas, and electricity. There was an iron door with a reliable lock, and even the log sauna looked aesthetically pleasing. Considering the substantial cost of such a dacha, Mila was genuinely surprised. Anna always complained about a lack of money. Maybe they've gotten into debt, Mila thought to herself as she set up the grill. But I want to install a wrought iron brazier soon. I've recently found a large picnic and cooking area, a 3-in-1 with a cauldron and barbecue. That's quite an expensive pleasure. Well, we try not to cut corners for ourselves. Anka wanted a shower cabin with massage, so why deny ourselves a little luxury? We only live once, Freddie laughed. So, go ahead and enjoy. I've been promoted at work, so I can afford it. While the men discussed extravagance, Mila set the table. Strangely, Anna insisted they have a picnic outdoors, even though there was no sunshade. The weather was unstable, with strong winds, and the July sun was scorching. Mila didn't argue. She put on a hat with a wide brim and started arranging sausages and meat on the plate. Light the fire, commanded Anna. Enough talking. The men quickly dealt with the charcoal, while the host continued weeding the beds. Mila had to put the skewers on the grill herself. Where can I wash my hands? Mila asked. Wash them in the barrel. There's warm water. It's warm outside. Don't worry about it, Anna replied with a smirk. City folks, she snorted. Okay, let's ask differently. Where can we use the bathroom? Mila tried to joke, hoping Anna would lead her to the house with amenities. However, Freddie nodded toward an inconspicuous shed at the edge of the garden. There's our outdoor toilet, and if I went to use the indoor one, Mila asked. She didn't get a direct answer and realized that if she wanted to enjoy the comforts of civilization, She had to make do with what was offered. No need to insist just yet. Indeed, for Mila, going into the bushes was unpleasant. Visiting the rustic toilet, which had long needed care and renovation, was not appealing. Moreover, with running water and plumbing in the house, guiding guests to the dacha toilet seemed rather strange. However, Mila had no choice. She used the shed, rinsing her hands in a barrel with rainwater, and then went to grill the meat on the charcoal because, as before, no one else wanted to take on this responsibility. Mila set a lavish table, but the hosts themselves participated in the banquet quite modestly. "What riches!" Anna exclaimed, placing a pot of boiled potatoes on the table. "What's surprising?" Oscar asked, looking at the plastic fork lying in front of him. "Is this disposable?" Freddie laughed. "Why did you just land it from the moon?" "Why not use regular forks and plates? It's more convenient. Eat and nothing to wash," Anna replied. "Okay, let's try it this way," Oscar said. Suddenly, a light rain started outside without any cover, making it uncomfortable. Mila stood up to protect the food from the rain and was about to move the plates inside, but Anna indicated that they would stay outside. "Not sugar, won't melt," Anna said, handing out raincoats. Fortunately, the rain didn't intensify, but the atmosphere around the table was quite unique. The conversation wasn't very pleasant, and Anna often glanced at the clock. Mila, feeling out of place, wanted to leave as soon as possible. "Delicious kebabs," Freddie praised. "Last week's were better," Anna remarked. "No, on this one, I bought meat from a local farm shop. It's regular meat, not like the one I usually get. Personally, I like it. Next time, bring your own." "Don't forget, once dissatisfied," Mila replied. Everything happening at the table seemed like some kind of joke to her. "I told you we should bring a strategic supply. Now everyone would be happy with everything. What difference does it make what kind of kebab? It is if that's not the main thing," Freddie reasoned. Oddly enough, he didn't bring his own supply to the table, only healing pomegranate juice. "I think the kebab isn't tasty, and the tomatoes aren't sweet. In our greenhouse we have," Anna was interrupted by Oscar. "Why don't you bring to the table what you have in your greenhouse?" "I couldn't resist," he added. Anna, with a displeased look, went to the greenhouse. She returned with 2 green tomatoes, saying it was too early to eat them, and then added, "There were red ones there." Freddie chimed in, "Red ones. I need them for Aleko," Anna cut in, and Mila glanced at her husband. She realized she wanted to visit the restroom again, but didn't want to go to the shed, so she quickly sent a message to her daughter, asking her to pick them up. "Thank you for the wonderful reception. Now I'll know how to properly welcome guests," Mila said, looking at Anna. However, Anna seemed indifferent to her words. "We're heading home. I need to use the restroom on the way," confessed Oscar. "If I knew, I would have brought a convenient pot with me. Since it's full self-service here, it's also self-provision," Oscar laughed, expressing solidarity with his wife. They left, leaving almost untouched food behind. Well, Oscar shook his head. "I suspected that Anna was frugal, but not to this extent." Mila drew conclusions and realized that she would never invite Anna and Freddie to her home again. "Next time, we'll go to the sanatorium. It's more pleasant and peaceful," she said, and Oscar agreed. Later on, Anna and Freddie visited for the weekend, but Oscar mentioned they had renovations and suggested meeting later in the fall. That time, Mila didn't set the table. The guests got chilly and left without consuming much. Anna and Freddie didn't ask to come again, and everyone drew their own conclusions based on their capabilities.